Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit whack. I mean, it's always gonna be Dirtbag Shit podcast. The DBS podcast. Peace and welcome to the DBS podcast, aka the Chacon Show. This week I'm joined by a very special guest, my good friend, comedian Emma Willmann. What's going on, lady?
What's going on? I'm so happy for you. This is so nice.
Yeah, it looks good, right?
It's this?
Yeah.
Incredible.
The backdrop.
Look at that. Oh, it's plastic. It's plastic.
No.
There it goes.
Yeah, so it actually didn't come with lettering. I stuck that on. Yeah.
I love that.
But everything matches. Doesn't it pop
Yeah,
nicely?
and that's you. It's custom.
That's me.
That's so cool.
And Canal, you know Casey O'Rourke.
Yeah, of course.
He thought the bottom teeth, he's like, why are the teeth on the bottom of the cartoon character version of you yellow? It looks like someone peed in your mouth. I was like, those are my gold fronts.
I knew that. I could call that. It was
that
a grill.
I lost in a hotel.
How'd you lose them?
I just left them in the hotel. Yeah. Speaking of teeth, what happened to your fucking tooth?
Okay.
Let's get right on it. I mean, you're moving around like me in the late 1990s. You know this is a fake tooth right here.
That front one?
Yeah. I fell off a bike and I left the calcium trail all through Washington Square Park after being chased by the cops because I was drinking in public on a mountain bike.
Was it the morning or was it at night?
It was like the late afternoon.
Yeah. The time on that makes a big difference to the DBS level. If it was midnight, it's like, all right, and you're like, ooh, it's the afternoon, is on a weekday. It's
an odd tooth to lose too. You always see the molar gone on people's faces, or the front tooth.
It's insane.
What's the name of that tooth?
I think it's not
canine?
like
no.
It's not like a direct. I'm just at this point. I'm just owning it too because I've got this little thing I can pop in. I'll show you in a second. But it's amazing how different you feel. It's just one tooth, so it's like. But everything feels different, and it took me a second because it's only been like 4 days where I've been like just doing no tooth during the day. The girl at the coffee shop I go to all the time, I was like I just like went in there and then she was like, today it's free, and I was like, oh, why? Oh, thanks, all right. And then I was leaving and I was like, oh, she must think I'm fucking going through it. And then at CVS,
Does she give you eye contact?
she gave me eye contact. Yeah, she was like, it's free today, and I was like, what?
Because no eye contact is worse. When someone feels so bad that they can't even look at you in the eyes, they're like, just take it.
Just take
Do you
it.
need anything else? All right, thank you.
This woman at CVS, I was like paying, and then she's like, wait, and then she gave me a bunch of coupons, and she's like, in here, and she like kept pulling the coupons out, and I was like, what? And I realized that while I was like paying, I had like taken my tooth out, not even really thinking. So people are sympathetic about it. No one's been weird,
Right?
But feels weird, that's for sure.
You feel the little air going through it?
I feel the air.
Yeah. Are you putting
Yeah.
your tongue in it?
No, they told me not to.
Yeah, because
Did you put your tongue in yours?
yeah, when I look, first of all, there's phases of it, but the thing is, you have the entire tooth is removed. Mine was a badly chipped tooth, so I would touch it with my tongue. It was very sharp.
Okay,
And
so
I have this like oral fixation going like this. So now I'm walking in public like making eye contact with people, and people are like, this fucking asshole.
yeah, this guy,
this fucking jerk off.
It wasn't. I never had the little tooth under it because I had the veneer, so they had another tooth put on over the veneer, but they weaken the tooth when you get the veneer, so it's like a whittled down little like snaggle tooth.
So just so it's clear, I'm not very familiar with veneers. Veneers are very popular in the hip hop industry. You love hip hop. Is that what inspired it?
No, I didn't know it was.
I feel like every rapper has the kind of chiclet teeth.
Yeah, that's what it.
But your teeth don't look like that.
So this was.
Are there different stages of veneers that you could get?
These were definitely like I got them at this place in Harlem, and I didn't realize I was a hip hop thing. That's cool. Just instinctively, I was drawn to, my people. But
Right.
I went to this place in Harlem and I paid because my people were like, "Oh, you went to a bad dentist." He wasn't bad. He was a good dentist. Mm-hmm. He did happen to hook me up where he let me pay him cash and come at weird times in the morning. So people thought that sounds sketchy.
That shit sounds mad shady. It sounds like during the day, he also gives out free COVID cards. Like,
it was
I got
in a
COVID
van.
card.
Yeah.
And I got Metro cards too.
I don't know what I paid him in Metro cards. I don't know what he's up to now, but he was so nice. It wasn't him. But I didn't. He was like, you have to wear a mouth guard. I was like, yeah.
What's the process for the veneer teeth? What do they do exactly?
They
like
whittle.
If I want to get veneers,
Let me see your teeth. I don't think you need them.
So what does it promote? Does a brighter smile, straighten the teeth? I'm not sure. I'm completely oblivious.
It's like it's manipulating it so it looks like all your teeth are like. Because what mine was, I had this gap. I had a big gap, which is ironic. Now I have no tooth.
You had a gap?
I mean, like a tiny gap. It's ridiculous to say now that I've got no tooth. I'm like, well, I had a gap, so I fixed that. I fucking nailed it. I fixed that gap. I kind of forgot that's why I got them. I had a gap because I had a little baby type tooth, so there was a little gap. So I wanted to get that filled in, and then he was like, we could also cap these front ones so it all matches, so all your teeth are like even like that. So it kind of made it all, and they were whiter.
So what they'll do is they'll file down the teeth, and then they put kind of like a cap over
Exactly. But permanent. So it's supposed to be like, this is it. No, it's not supposed to, because if...
What materials do they use for the veneer? Is it?
I think it's the fancy one. That's why it's so expensive. Is that ivory?
I'm not sure.
I don't know
You're killing
either.
elephants?
I don't know. No, not ivory. What is it?
Yo.
I should know.
Rhino? The white rhino that's like some sort of...
What do they make teeth out of? It's bone.
Yeah.
I think.
Calcium of some sort.
Not rhino. It's not that. Not ivory. Not ivory. I get confused.
You know the white rhino's extinct?
Not because of me. I don't think it's that. It wasn't that expensive.
Okay.
He hooked it up.
It's like a porcelain, maybe?
That's what I was thinking
Okay.
of. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You have a good vocabay.
I don't. The other day, we were talking about high school, and very confidently, I said, I never had that experience. I never had to get anybody a collage. And they were like, you mean corsage?
Oh, Jesus.
It's corsage.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I didn't. Corsage. Yeah.
I said collage.
Hey.
And holy shit, did my stepdaughter's girlfriend laugh at me with a vein popping out her neck. Oh, your vocabulary's on the next level. I was like, talking like that's next level.
Yeah, right.
And she went on for way too long. I was getting annoyed.
Yeah, you're
She's like, oh, he said collage. And I was like,
yeah,
okay.
bitch. It is what it is. You're not getting one. You're not getting one of those from me. A collage. It sounds the same.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from.
She was laughing a little.
You're busy. I'm fucking busy. I'm a dad. I'm running a business. I'm doing comedy, and I got a podcast. I mess up words.
I can mess up a word here and there. So you get the veneer, and
was so happy with it. But it was my fault because him and have you ever met like a sometimes like when you go into an office like there'll be someone that's just because it's just like they're so cool they stay with you even if you just meet them a couple times.
Very personable.
Yes, the secretary at that office. I remember she would always be like, hey, like she was so nice, and I called them up maybe a year ago when the veneers started popping out. And I hadn't been in there in 7 years. And I was like, I used to be a client. And she was like, wait, with the short blonde hair trying to make it an entertainment? I was like, you know me. And then she was like, we used to talk about Domino's. And I was like, yes.
Domino's Pizza.
Domino's Pizza was right across the street. And she'd always be like, I'm going to go to Domino's later. And I was like, do it.
And you would support her dirtbag decision.
I would support her. Now I'd be like, what's really going on? But she remembered me. So the office was great. But she was like, we told you to wear a mouth guard. And I blew him off. I blew it off. So when you don't wear the mouth guard, apparently the pressure over years of just clamping and grinding starts wearing on the veneers. So over the summer, they started like popping off. So I had 3 pop off. They popped off.
And you physically saw them fall out? Like,
oh, baby.
And so it was like a shell of a tooth kind of thing?
And it would go, 2 times it happened on stage.
Wow. So when that popped off, what was underneath?
Snaggletooth.
Oh, snaggletooth. So this is a bonding, and when I first chipped it, it was very little.
And then, you fell and chipped it?
Yeah.
That's
and
awful.
it looked kind of cool, and I kind of thought I looked tough. Then I wanted to get it fixed, so that's when the trouble started happening.
Right.
So then I got a bonding, and I was on line in Rite Aid with toothpaste in my hand, ironically, and I was talking, and then it just came out. The next time you repair it, you have to shave it down more.
Right.
So then they put another bonding. I was somewhere and it fell. I was boxing, got hit, and I took off the mouth guard, and then the tooth was really small. Fuck. So then I got like a little snaggle tooth as well, and then they had to shave it down again. They said one more time, we got to remove that, put a cap.
And you do not want that.
Why?
Because then they have to do a dental implant.
Oh yeah, so like a screw.
And that's
fucked.
permanent. But it's bad because you have to have. So that's what I have to get. But here's why you don't want that. Because you have to have enough bone in the roof of your mouth. So I didn't have enough bone. So then they had to make bone in my mouth.
Wow.
So that's one thing. But also, like, did you trust them the whole time? Because I did, but then other people started being like, you can't trust dentists. And I'm like, oh, I can't?
Don't trust them how? Like,
they were
like
saying,
a car salesman? They're going to keep on adding on type shit?
But I do trust them. Like, because I think I emotionally cannot. I actually snapped at my girlfriend the other day because she, and my mom too, was like talking. She was like, well, how do you know the dentist is doing this and that? I'm like, I don't know. And at this point, like, I emotionally don't want to. I would be so upset.
You want to kind of leave it.
I want to believe everything they say.
Because you're stressed out.
So stressed
the last
about
thing you
it.
want to worry about is the person that's caring for you not being trustworthy. And people closest to us plant those seeds. Like,
all
you
day
sure
long.
you can trust them?
My mom said, she was like, have you thought about maybe you might need to sue the dentist? I go, what are you talking about? One of my big gripes.
I need that help. I'm not gonna start suing the person I need help from.
And I'm like, I don't want to. Part of it is too is I was like, I'm done. I don't want to pay for it. It's the time and paying for it. So I was like, suing them. Also, I don't know anything about dental work. I don't know what they're doing right or wrong. Like, I have no idea. No, everything they say, I'm like, yeah. So I mean, they put the cadaver bone in. That's what it is, cadaver. So they like put dead bone in, and they like did all that. My face blew up. I went out. I did shows when my face was swollen. That was dirtbag.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Were you in pain?
No, because I was on pain. This is also, I thought you might get a kick out
But
of
that
this.
really embodies who you are. You're a hustler. Like, anyone else would be, I gotta take the night off, and you're just out there.
I should have taken the night off. I did take 2 weeks off though. Is it a hustle? Because there's a line between being a hustler and like, you gotta have self-care too. But I didn't mind. I was maybe putting the audience in a weird spot because as the night was going on, my face was getting swollener and swollener. Wow. And so they're like, and I got a black eye, but I wasn't in pain. And I said, I was thinking about it since like I was on before and we showed you and I talked about not drinking and we'll talk about that. And I went in and I was like, I just want you to know I've thought a lot about it and I am sober and no matter what happens, like I don't want painkillers. And he was like, okay, Emma, I've never prescribed painkillers for this, but like good to know. And I was like, oh, never ever. He was like, this doesn't require painkillers. He's like, you'll be fine with ibuprofen.
When I hear,
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna get hooked on the cotton. Yeah. I'm already picturing myself doing hair. Like I was like, I'm gonna say no.
Picture the worst. You put yourself in an outdoor restaurant shed,
exactly,
shooting up through your fucking neck.
Yes, like, and I came in like a hero. I'm like, I just want you to know. Like, there's nothing you can say or do that's going to make me take the OxyContin. And they're like, yeah, all right.
Oh, so that's good. So it's not going to be a painful procedure.
It didn't hurt at all. I was numbed up. That's why it didn't hurt when I did the shows. Then I took the 2 weeks off. Isolated it. They like, this all swelled up. But that wasn't
the side of your face swelled up and then you got
all swelled up. But that wasn't what was scary. When I got scared was last week when the motherfucker got infected.
Oh, shit.
I felt so scared because I was like, ugh, it's my, like, I don't know what was going on. And then I guess it was I got like a piece of fucking, I don't even know, cheese or something.
Something. Yeah, it's your mouth. A lot going on there.
Yeah, something up in the gum.
So how did they, antibiotics?
So I go in. This is disgusting.
It's okay. It's the DBS podcast.
It was so gross. The dentist had trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
This is trigger warning. And I'm like, it takes a lot. The dentist had to milk the pus out of my mouth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that gross? It's gross.
It needs to be done.
It's disgusting.
Some people don't mind doing that. You know, my wife Liz is
pimple pusher.
Is into removing growths and milking pus pockets and shit like that. She used to work for a doctor, and she's just used to it. That doesn't make her queasy at all. One day, I saw her and my daughter. Charlie's only 9, so this is 3 years ago, right? She was like 6 or something. She had Charlie on her lap. The laptop is open. They're watching a vet remove mango maggots from a dog.
The fuck?
Yes, I had no idea what a mango maggot was.
Never heard of such thing.
They squeezed the skin and maggots were like embedded in the skin. It's fucking disgusting. Sorry, guys, but my wife is a weirdo.
How does she even find that?
Yeah,
shit?
and they were like, oh, it's so satisfying. What's satisfying about seeing a fucking maggot being pushed out of a dog's fur.
I
under
will
the
watch
skin. It's embedded in there.
like chiropractor videos, and I'll find that satisfying because it's a crack. I'm like, but the pushing.
There's
the
a lot of people
pus,
who like it because you know how many
Yes,
views that shit?
millions.
It had like 100 million views.
I know, it's crazy.
Like remove
Oh, that one did?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Remove a moth from someone's ear. You know, people.
I want to see like the before, like how it got in there, like what were the steps, like
Well,
what
the moth
happened,
getting in the ear.
and how do they do it? You don't just go living in your life like, I mean, maybe a moth is a one-time thing, but it's just like some of those pimples, like it's like I've
How
seen.
does it get that bad?
That's
How
what I
is that not
wonder.
addressed?
Right, exactly.
Okay, I understand if you got a pimple in the middle of your back.
Sure.
And then you don't know, you
Can't
don't have a
reach
loved one,
it.
but you don't
Right.
feel it.
Don't have
you know,
a loved
you're walking
one.
around. You're walking around the street like with a stegosaurus scale
Right.
protruding out your hands,
Right.
extra large. You don't feel that?
In New York, that would never fucking, because some kid would see it, because kids like yell out what in New York, at least they yell out, they'll be like, hey, like fucking fucked up pimple or whatever.
Right.
Like actually, since I've been getting in shape, the other day these kids were yelled at me. They were like, hey, hey, hey. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And they were like, arms. And that made my day.
Your arms are impressive.
Thank you so much.
Do you feel good walking by like a car, the reflection of a car window, and you look at yourself, a storefront?
I'll kind of like, I'll tense up. Yeah.
You got like that, and you're not even flexing. So I flex. Anytime someone comes near me and I feel like I'm gonna be touched, best believe I flex.
I do that too.
So when I worked at Petland Discounts and I used to be in charge of sweeping the bird room, if someone like a manager would like grab my arm and say,
Sure.
hey, after the birds, you gotta get the hamsters, I will flex.
How about you get the fucking hamsters?
No, I got it. You know, so I flex. But you were moving in the studio minutes ago, and you were chiseled out.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're taking good care of yourself.
The only other time I was in this good, like I was in shape, like
take care of your arms. Yeah, your
taking
grill.
care of arms. Yeah, the grill and like.
But that just happened because of the mouth guard.
I think it was a little my fault, because if I had worn the mouth guard, and if I also probably had been needing to like clean it more or something, because they said
So how long? So you get the veneers, you got to maintain it for that cautiously for like an entire year.
Veneers, I didn't do no caution, nothing. It was 6 years until there started being any problems.
With the file down, and then you got the casing on top of it.
And I didn't pay attention to any of that. I was
You're
like,
like,
good
I'm
to
done.
go.
I'm
Done. Because I was, I'm 35 now, so I was like 26.
Oh, it's that long ago?
It was a long time ago. So I was like, cool. I walked out of there. They said, have a mouth guard. I remember being like, yeah.
When you say the mouth guard, how long do you have to wear the mouth guard?
Every night for the rest of your life.
Oh, shit.
But I said, fuck that.
I'm sorry. I thought that this was like something that you just got done recently. Interesting.
This happened years ago. So, and that's why too, like, I mean, I'm a chomper. Like when I eat, and so they're like you.
Sometimes you just use your teeth and not your hands. I just and just shake it like a pet.
When like I used to freeze Quest bars, you know those like protein power bars.
Mm-hmm.
I put them in the freezer because I liked the way it tasted better. I don't know why I put that in quotes, but I liked the way it tasted better. And I would take it.
I think you put the air quotes because protein bars usually don't taste that good.
They don't taste that good.
They're overpriced. We eat them because we've been forced to believe that they're somewhat healthy.
Yes.
They taste like, we don't know what they taste like, but we eat them and it's like.
Some ambiguous flavor of sugary cookie.
Yeah.
thing.
It says no sugar, but there's a bunch of other ingredients.
Some
we have no
shit.
idea.
We don't know what's going on.
We have no idea about a lot of shit that we
I
consume.
know. It's
and I'm talking
scary.
about with food and information, we have no idea.
Even vitamins. We don't know what the fuck.
Because they say you should take it every day for years.
Right.
I pop a Centrum. I had no idea what that does.
What is a Centrum?
The multivitamin.
Oh, yeah.
It got the rainbow,
Sure. Right.
Emblem.
Right. Who fucking...
I have no idea.
No idea. No clue. I was taking like all kinds of anti-inflammatory stuff. I was taking like everything. And then because they did say my gums were healing quickly. So I was like, well, that's good. But they were like, you shouldn't, they're like, just to be like, now that you've got this stuff done, you can not like bite into an apple. You can't like bite into like hard candies, all stuff I used to do. The first time the tooth popped out, I was about to record a podcast over Zoom. I had a Quest bar and I went, and my video wasn't on. I was just logging into the Zoom. So I go, pull my head out and then the tooth is stuck in the Quest bar. And the producer just heard me go, fuck. And he was like, Emma? And I was like, fucking fuckity fuck. And then I was like wiggling it back in. And then I didn't want to get it fixed until I was on stage, like doing like an outdoor show in LA. And while I was on stage, it got loose. And it was in front of, have you ever been to Silver Lake in LA?
No.
It's very
Is
like
it a pretentious spot? Like very.
kinda. It's like a little like Park Slopey, like
Okay.
like fancy hipsters. Is Park Slope hipsters?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes I get confused about hip, but like fancy, like
I know.
You know what I'm
Yeah, it might not be hipster like Williamsburg, but I get the vibe you're talking about.
yeah, and they were like really good looking, like beautiful people. And I was on stage, and
So like a missing tooth would be appalling. They'll grab their pearls and be like, well, I've never.
and it went missing in front of them in real time. So
Did you see it fall out?
it didn't. That was the thing. It didn't go this. I was saying something with a th, and it went whoo up into the grass, and I just watched it, and everyone went like. Also, I know the backstory. I know I've got veneers. I know they've been popping out. They don't know any of this shit. So all they see
They
is
just think you're falling apart, literally.
So I was like, oh, my tooth. And they were all like, and then I was like, it's okay. It's a veneer. And they're like, and then I went and picked it up. And then I called my friend. I was like, hey, can you come hold my tooth? And they were like talking to someone. So I was like, hey, Ryan, can you hold my tooth?
Wait, it was like the host, another comic?
It was another comic that was on with me at the show, and then he didn't even hear me, or maybe he was. Now that I'm saying it, maybe he pretended he didn't. But then I just like put it in my pocket and finished the set, and was like, "Wow."
Did you put it like in a little like jean pocket where we would put our drugs, like the you know?
No,
There's like
but
the little
that's funny.
pocket that has
Yeah,
no
yeah.
use but for blowing pills.
That I know exactly what you're talking about because
Yeah.
we used to put my Adderall in there. Yeah, I've got one of those right. What
So
the
did you put the tooth in there?
I think I'll put him just in my back pocket, and I was just trying to make it. Hey, I'm cool. It's fine. And
You want them to still trust that you had it under control.
things are good. And they were just like, they were pretty cool about it because I think I would have been like, "Are you okay?" Like this, and that went on
How
for
much time
maybe
did you have left in your set?
like 5 minutes.
That's a long time.
I know.
That's a
I know.
crisis if you allow it to be.
For some
But
reason,
you prevailed. It sounds like you prevailed.
I prevailed because I didn't know what a motherfuck this. It didn't matter until I broke the tooth under it. That's when this really shit hit the fan. And I was like, but I was telling Sergio before we started recording. So this is to be explicitly clear. The tooth was broken. So it was, they had an x-ray from way back. They're like, the tooth was broken, but it was like holding on and it was like just kind of broken. So they're like, anything would have made it like crack. Anything. So like I would have broken this no matter what. But I was thinking, because they said the timeline, and they're like, did you have anything like bop you in the face? And they're like, it wouldn't have even been hard. It could have been just a little bop, just right where it was. And then I remember me and Sergio. Sergio's a great boxing teacher. This is all on me.
She's about to drop some shit.
He punched me right in the face. No, I'm just kidding. But there was this. There's like the ball.
It's called a maze ball, aka a slip bag. It's on a chain. It's the size of a speed bag, and a lot of times it's sand in there or even cat litter. And you swing it and you work on head movements, slipping, bobbing, and weaving.
Yeah, and it's not like even like when we did it was never moving fast. Like it was like beginner. Like so, when he does it real slow, like you see it coming, and then you move your head. And
you got bob.
Dummy proof. There was one time where I'm also dyslexic, so I'm really like a bad candidate for this stuff. And there was one time I kind of like went like that, and you're like, ooh, and then I was like, I'm okay. Didn't hurt at all.
Right.
That's the only thing I was like, yeah, either that or I think one time I kind of punched myself in the face too. Because I was doing this exercise and I did punch myself in the face.
I remember both incidents.
Yeah, I think it was probably me punching myself.
Because you threw an uppercut and
yeah. Yeah, that's
because the uppercut's meant to go up, not like a C. But that's very common. It happens.
Yeah.
You get excited, and I do remember the maze ball, the slip back hit, and your eyebrows, frowned a little bit, and you were like, and you looked in the mirror, and you gave it a little thumb check, and that was it. Then you moved on.
It was definitely me punching myself in the face, actually, for sure. Because the maze ball really was just like a boop. But when I did that, I remember being like, and then being like, damn. And I told them that at the dentist. I was like, I might have hit myself in the face, and they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, I was boxing, and I
mean, at least it happened during training. At least it didn't happen like making out with one, your girl or something.
Absolutely. True.
Because I've done that before. I have an overbite. I dated someone who had the same overbite, and every time we made it, I went clink.
Click teeth. That's not good for your teeth.
Yeah, clinking one time. It sounded like people were giving a toast in the background every time we make out.
Did you ever meet the comedian Leonard Oots?
Yes, he's very funny.
Very funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Is he in LA or something?
I think he moved to LA, and maybe I haven't seen him in maybe like 2 years ago in Vegas. I saw him, but he used to have a joke, and he did it on Conan about when you're like overweight. This is how he's describing it: having sex with another overweight person. It sounds like giving high fives or something
it sounds
that.
It sounds like people are clapping and they ain't using hands.
Right, yeah.
Juicy J, that's a Juicy J line.
Really?
Yeah, he goes, these bees clapping and they ain't using hands. That's a great line.
That's a great line.
They're using them cheeks.
They're using their cheeks, yeah. I haven't been able to do like much, like I've done kissing.
I was going to say, I haven't been able to do much twerking.
Yeah, but I've never twerked in my life. Fuck. I'd rather have this no tooth for the rest of my life than twerk 1 second. My body doesn't move like that.
That's a skill.
What would it take for you to twerk? I mean, I do it for like $100
I twerk all the time
Oh,
in front of my daughter. And she goes, Daddy, stop twerking. And then she does it. And then Liz walks away with an empty plate like, you guys are disgusting.
Yeah.
And then walks away like that.
Maybe I'll try it. I don't even know if my butt like moves like that. Your daughter is so fucking cute.
Yeah, she's funny.
She's so cute.
I'm so happy she's able to do her own hair. She used to give me a hard time when I was washing her hair. She always gives me a hard time with shit like that. I'm trying to help her out. So I was washing her hair one time, and she goes, with a head full of shampoo, no tear shampoo, like the good one. I'm hooking her up.
Yeah, you
and she laid back. I'm like, put your head back. Come on, let me get it. And she goes, you don't know what you're doing. That's what she said to me. You don't know what you're doing. I'm like, what do you mean I know what I'm doing? She's like, Mama does it different. She does it better. I'm like, then you wash your own hair. You need me to do this. With your little 7-year-old hand.
You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll do her hair. When her mother would be flying, I would, try to do, play her hair in a ponytail. It's so funny, right?
That's so
But I was sent her
cute.
to school looking like George Washington.
You try.
It's a loose bun. And then she looked upset. She's on her tablet.
Right. She's like, Dad.
Okay, it's fine. And then she sprays it.
How are you gonna tell her about her like period? Because I remember my dad trying to tell me about that, and I didn't make it easy for him because he was like, but I mean, I was just with my dad, but he was like, what did he say? He was like, at some point, people become adults, and I was like, what? And then
Do you remember that? Of course,
I remember it because I remember.
How old were you?
13 or something, but I remember.
Sorry, I'm coughing into the mic. Sorry.
Oh please, I don't give a I don't give a fuck. I had allergies. I was coughing like a motherfucker, and the judgment of others.
I know.
Cause I'm like, I would cough. I'd be like, and I would wear a.
People get upset.
I'd move away, and I'd be like, it's not COVID. I got the vaccine. Like, but it's not a safe time to be coughing, which I understand.
You can't be coughing.
You can't be coughing, but sometimes you gotta clear your throat.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I have
saying?
to clear my throat right now.
I had allergies.
And I got flustered just now. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God,
It feels so counterband. You're like I was at CVS and I was like, I would just like dive into, but I should have been doing that anyway. My dad said I called my mom. I was like, Mom, what happens when you get your period? And she was like, well, da-da-da-da-da. And then I was like, okay. And then I hung up. She must have called my dad. And then he came in my room and was like, people become adults at different times. And then he wanted to celebrate. He wanted to like get a cake.
That's hilarious.
Which is cute. But I was like, leave me alone. So if there's, I would say don't go the celebration route. But maybe your daughter would want that.
So
I don't know.
I'll tell you, Liz is great with that sort of thing.
Great.
And she handles all that stuff.
Great.
And if I need to take part,
You'll tap in.
Yeah, so she's aware of the birds and the bees, and Liz is just articulate and clear. I overdo it. I
would love to see you do a sex talk.
Yeah, Liz did it already. And,
Really?
It was cut and dry, and it was very, simple. Liz explained it to me how she did it.
Great.
And that was it. So I'll do stuff that has to deal more with danger. I say always follow your gut instinct, your intuition.
Yes.
There's people out there who don't always have your best intentions. There's bad people out there. And a lot of times these bad people come from a bad place, and it's they're continuing a certain cycle. So I don't want you to look at people as if, we're being, scared and fearful. You got to have an understanding, right? So
Yes, totally. Because also it simplifies it too much to be like, there's bad people and good people, because then that becomes, we got big fucking problems with that in the world today. Because it's like these people, those people. It's like, no, it's
exactly.
We don't know
So I
how
said, a lot
we
of
would be.
times when people behave a certain way, they would treat it that way. So we got to be
Right.
sympathetic and understanding to why they behave that way, and that it has to be corrected. But just know there's some people who move in the world like that.
Right.
And a lot of times you'll get indications of that, like it's a gut instinct, and follow that. Never be ashamed of being in a situation like that. Quite often, especially when it has to do with sex.
Yes.
It can be very uncomfortable. You feel like you're at fault.
Right.
You feel alone with it. You feel embarrassed. So I said, I, as your father, and Liz, and your mother are always here for you. There's no judgments. We want you to be comfortable, but we understand it's not gonna always be comfortable.
Right.
So one or the other is easier to talk to in that given time. It's fine, but always know that you have us to talk to, and that we're here for you, and that it's super important because you shouldn't be alone with that because then you end up dealing with that in a different way, which can be harmful to you.
Absolutely. Think of the people you go to as a kid. I mean, I'm going to my fucking shithead friend. We're comparing notes. Right. Talk about the inmates running the asylum. I mean, it's like, I think having a kid be heard is the most important thing, because my girlfriend was listened to as a kid, and sometimes and I was very well taken care of, but I wouldn't necessarily say I was like. I mean, my parents definitely did that, but my parents are great. I love my parents, but I noticed a difference where, and especially with like a sex thing, I would have been able to tell my mom anything with that. Like she would always be like, safe space. My dad, I don't even know if he knows I mean, he's come to my comedy shows, I talk about sex, but I don't think we've ever really like talked about sex. But he probably knew my mom was taking care of it. Mm-hmm. He definitely doesn't think I'm like a virgin or something. You know what I mean? Like but I remember, but like she was always like, yeah, my parents always made me feel like no matter what, they would like listen and take it in and react. And I'm like, interesting. And you tell the difference because like I feel like it makes the person calmer because they're not panicked about not being heard. Because when people panic about not getting heard, I notice then like for me, I'd say more extreme things. Like I'd always be like, what the fuck? Like I fucked up. Like I'd make it more extreme because I think it was like me trying to be heard when really I could have had a smaller reaction. But going to therapy once a week.
Do you go to the same therapist you've been going to for a while?
Same one.
Oh, I think that's helpful because the relationship is strengthened, right?
Yeah.
You need to develop a relationship with the person you're talking to.
And it's weird because sometimes like it just feels weird because like I was like, sometimes I'd be like, I used to be like, I don't have anything to say to her this week, but then that's not. So
I thought you were going to a guy that we may have.
No.
Okay.
I went to him a couple times.
Okay. Yeah, because I went to a therapist for some time, and it was just too much. When I got sober, I was like, this is what the next step is. I'm gonna get a therapist, and it was too much because I just got sober, and I had a couple of relapses early on.
Yeah.
So I might have relapsed shortly after that, but Charlie was just born. I was seeing the therapist. I brought Liz to the therapy session, and it was too much. It was, because alone when I was talking to him, he was like, make some decisions. And I was like, I just made a decision to get clean.
Right.
I'm fragile.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he was intense.
Yeah, so he was like, make this decision. If you feel that way, I was like, I don't know if I really feel that way. Like,
he's supposed to talk it out with you,
too.
So he told me I looked like shit once. I came in hungover. He's like, you look like shit. And I was like, I don't know because it is a relationship, so you got to find. And then he asked me to promote his son's movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, would you promote my son's movie? And I was like, I don't know much
That's
about
a little
much.
unprofessional.
I was like, I think there's like gotta be a boundary here.
Yeah, there's no boundaries.
And so then I was like,
something like that.
I was like, I'm good.
So everyone has a little bit of dirtbag in it, even the medical professionals.
That's like, to me, when like a therapist is a dirtbag thing, that I'm like I'm real unsympathetic about it. I'm like, come on, like you're dealing with a vulnerable. But maybe I think he really helps and works for some people. So that's great.
Absolutely.
No
and that's
shade
the thing.
on
Like
that.
there's a chemistry between certain people.
Totally.
I mean, shit. Like I was he worked on me, and I was paying him spot pay when I would get at
He hooks it up. He hooks it up, which is amazing.
Yeah,
that's
and
nice.
I knew he wasn't doing that for someone else because I compared. Like he would probably Google and be like, okay, this person's cleaning up. That's gonna be
And he was the office was in like a nice location. I remember that. Because he saw all the comedians.
Yeah.
He was the comedian's therapist. Mm-hmm. But I saw him 9 times, and I didn't see anyone for a couple years. And then when I dated a therapist, she was like, you need to see a therapist. So I was like,
How was that, dating a therapist?
It was interesting. I was not in a place for it because, and she even said
Did you feel like she was overanalyzing everything?
I felt like she was very...
Were you moving around a little different? Like you wanted to make it seem like you had your shit all together?
In the beginning, yeah. And I lied to her. And then she said, too, she was like, why would you lie to me like that? Like, wouldn't you want for yourself to have someone that knows the truth?
Well, how big was the lie?
I told her I had been sober for 3 years when I had been sober for like 1 month.
Okay.
So that's a lot. That's a fucking lie.
Yeah, that's a lie.
That's a big lie because where you're at 3 years sober is very different than where you're at. Like maybe it was whatever it was not much. So she was like, Emma, if I had known that, I wouldn't have brought up us moving in together. Like I would have made it like you would have. But I was just saying what I thought she wanted to hear, which was like, that shit backfires. But she was nice. She had all these like tools. So if we'd ever have a conversation, she's bringing all these like listening tools, and I would.
What do you mean listening tools?
Like she'd be like very calm, be like, I think this about this, and then she'd ask me all these like questions, and I could feel myself not being able to like have a conversation at that level because I'd be like, I'm frustrated. I want to go for a walk.
Kind of set you up for like a session almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But it felt like I bet if I was in a better we weren't the right mix too.
Probably the time wasn't great either.
Timing was not great. When I go through and like make amends or whatever, she's like number 1 or 2 on the list. I wasn't great because I lied.
You were 1 month sober. You're still rattled.
Rattled like a fucking.
So the 1 month sober could be a couple of different things. I remember 1 month sober for me. I was depressed. I was sleeping.
Were
a lot.
you?
I don't know. I want to be very careful how I use depressed. I was just going through a lot of highs and lows. I would sleep a lot. And I was
depressed.
moody.
I got depressed the first couple of months for sure. Not this time around, but for sure in the past.
I feel like the first, the real time when I got. And I abstained from, I was like moody, I was sleeping a lot, and I was like, when does this stop? You know, It was like a fog. And I feel like it lasted a long time. And I don't recall how long it lasted, but it felt, so, but that was like definitely a month in, so I wonder if you were going through that, and then you looked at her as some light, and you were trying to overcompensate, like, okay, you're good for me, and I don't know. I was just someone who I was with for a long time. Liz, so she was able to like be there for me. But I don't know how I would have been in a new relationship.
Especially because it's like, I think I was looking for something. Particular time I felt good. But there were times where I felt bad like that, where I was like, I feel really like crummy. This time I remember being like, I think I'd only gone out too for like, maybe it was like 3 or 4 months, but I felt like shit. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to get sober. And then I was feeling like kind of like happy and euphoric about it.
Oh man, I remember that. Like, what they call that, pink clouds.
Pink clouds. So I was on the pink clouds. So I was like,
you think
I'm doing great. And then I really did feel. I was like, I've felt really good for like 6 months. But then it was like I wasn't really learning like the life skills. And then I remember like things kind of got stressful. I remember I stopped going to any support groups. I was walking to a support group and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna send emails. And then that same day, like, just a bunch of shit happened, and I drank that day.
Yeah, you see the sweater? How there's a piece of it like kind of undoing itself right there.
Oh yeah.
And don't pull that because it'll make it worse. But that's the way it is, right? If you don't go to like the support group or something, you pull that.
I want to pull it so bad.
Don't pull it. Then it becomes like this thing where it becomes uncontrollable. Like fuck, I should have left it alone. Just kind of worked it out from inside out.
And it's me going, I don't need to go because I'm not in a crisis. It's like about building, it's about systems and patterns that like have your back. So it's like if you got this like system, like I will do like when I have coffee in the morning, I'll be like, have coffee and make your bed. So that's the system. So it's like just like one thing to then it's like, okay, maybe then I keep my apartment a little more organized. Then it's like less chaotic when I leave. So I'm not like, where are my keys? Where's this? I still do that, but less. Because it's like there's like little bits of systems,
When did you find, because we were training years ago, and I felt there was a time where you took time off of everything.
A whole year.
So how long ago was that? Because I just want to, what year was that? 2012?
It feels like it was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
It was a minute.
So I remember
10
you
or
took
11.
some time off. Was that when you figured, like, was that like a sobriety run? Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was
because I felt you came back correct. You came back strong. You left. I felt like you didn't tell anybody. You needed the time to yourself. And you came back and you just was so hyper-focused and you had your shit together. And you still do.
I did. But then I did start drinking again about 1 year of having my shit together. And
so it's been an ongoing battle, sporadic.
Yes. Because it was when I left, moved in with my mom. I got a job. I was going to therapy, going to AA. Or we're not supposed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Support groups.
Support groups. What inspired that first? I need to let go. What was the reason? Was it this accumulation of difference, or was there one incident that really like?
For that, the very first time it was, the very first time I ever went to any type of support group was, I think I was in between high school and college, and my original thing I used to do was overeat. So I would eat, and then I would like try to drink and smoke pot and like snort Adderall to like try to like almost pass out to not overeat. But then of course I would still overeat. But then I went to this like 3-week rehab thing in Connecticut in between high school and college. And then I didn't drink for a little bit in college, but I didn't really take it seriously. But that was the first time I went.
Okay.
But when I left New York that time, it was because I graduated grad school and I'd been like working like as a TA at the school, but like running around doing open mics. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make New York work. Like with the amount that I was just like, I fell asleep at my graduation. I looked like shit. I was so like puffy and I looked like fucking the worst I've ever looked. I mean, including like this, like infinitely worse. I looked so just bleh. Went to Boston, dried up, sold educational travel. And then when I came back, I was so focused, but I didn't stick with it. I didn't learn new life skills. Like I was just like proceeding. And I just remember then getting like more and more like, I remember I drank again. I went to LA like a year after being back, and I like felt awful about how I did on this show. And then,
was that what inspired the drinking again?
Yes, and I remember being like, "Fuck this."
It's never that bad either.
No, drinking never makes it better. Yeah,
but it never makes it better, right? Like what I'm saying is, anytime I drank or did anything else to combat the way I felt, it just compounded it.
Compounded it by, and it's like, oof.
And I could deal with a bad night,
Right.
At the fucking gym. I'm sorry, at a show or with interaction with someone. That shit's manageable. That shit, the force field I got now, it's just like, it really nothing can penetrate. I mean, I'm just like, but if I ever allow the other shit, insecurity seep in,
right?
And it's just a host of other things that didn't really exist,
right?
That I allowed to
100%. Yeah, because it had to be way back.
It's such a bigger deal then.
Totally.
As opposed to like, fuck, man, I just was off.
Right.
And, I said something dumb or whatever.
Yeah.
And, no one's exempt from that shit, right? And that's part of it. And what I'm saying is all that other shit is manageable. But with the alcohol and drugs, it's never manageable.
And then it's like off to the racetracks.
Right.
Because you're like, all right. Because I was like, oh, I didn't do well on the show. And then I wasn't like working on myself. So then my thinking was like, and I'm never going to do well again. And this, you start like time hopping and catastrophizing when really, if I had been like, if something like that happened now, I'd be like, okay, like, whatever. Like, you do whatever. Like, it's like, not doing well at a show. Like, what? Like, we do so many. I mean, it's like the grand scheme of it. Like, it's like, yeah, I got other things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whatever. But that was what made me Miller Lite. I went to 7-Eleven, got a 6-pack of Miller Lite. I love Miller Lite.
Miller Lite is
hilarious. I love Miller Lite. It's so good.
I don't know if I had Miller Lite. I don't know if I ever had a Miller Lite. I definitely had a Miller Lite.
Really?
Yeah, I definitely had
that
a
was
Miller
my
Lite.
go-to. Not
Really?
the High Life, the Miller Lite.
Some cigarettes?
I love Miller Lite in Parliaments. I would smoke them.
Parliaments.
Oh, could you imagine doing that right now? I would be laid out if I smoked and drank if I spent one night doing. I mean, I would just be like I'd be shot.
Parliaments remind me of this girl I used to date. She was a bartender, and you ever dated like someone in that service industry trying to keep up with them?
Oof. You meet up with them after work, and they're already yeah.
So it's like
forget about
I would have a spot, then I would meet them at their spot. At their bar, and she got the jean skirt and the cowboy boots, and she's a little younger than me, and I'm just like feeling myself out.
Have a cigarette,
baby. Yeah. We go out, smoke a Parliament, and then I have to wait till like 4:00 in the morning, pull the gate down, get grease on my fingertips. I got it.
Yeah.
Flex.
Right. Yeah.
I got it. Grr. Put the metal rod in. Go. Lock it.
She's a close Sergio.
She's like, I'm like, holding her bag like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Time to go.
Yeah. Time to 4:30 in the morning. We go to a dive bar she's familiar with. It's a great time. But now you're up.
Now you're up.
8:00 in the morning. Birds are chirping, and you're smoking Parliament cigarettes. And she got 4 packs because that's her lifestyle. She got one in her back pocket. She got one in her totes bag. She got one in her leather bag. And then she got a brand new package. She's packing it in. She just buys cigarettes.
Flush.
Cash money all over the
Yes,
place.
that's when someone's like flush when they've got, and you're like, they've always got one too.
Yeah.
When was the last time you smoked a cigarette?
So Rhode Island a couple of weeks ago.
I think I had one a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I was so turned off by myself. The weekend was great.
Yes.
Great shows, but I just smoked a lot that weekend, and I was just disgusted with myself. So then I haven't smoked in weeks. But every now and then, in between spots, I'll have one or two. But it's never to the point where I need to smoke during the day or outside of comedy. Comedy
I know.
is the one thing that triggers it.
Me too, for anything.
And I was mad at comedy for a long time because when I first started doing stand-up, I would drink and party, but I didn't do it to the extent in which I did like 2 years in. Then it became part of the comedy lifestyle.
Right.
So I was mad at comedy, but it wasn't comedy's fault. It was my fault.
Right.
But because it was readily available,
Association.
it was accepted. I met friends who did it.
Yes.
And then it became a little unmanageable. And that's when. But so for a long time, I looked at comedy like, you fucker, like you're a bad influence on me.
And it is like literally being out at night around a bar where you're getting drinks is tempting.
It's so interesting how when I was doing the drugs and stuff, how I knew every comic that did it now. But now that I'm so out of that world, I have no idea who does that.
Totally.
I'm like, people still do that? And I'm sure they do.
Right. I couldn't even imagine.
I wouldn't even know how they get it. I wouldn't even know how to ask for drugs anymore. Hey, excuse me, do you have cocaine?
Yeah.
I'll probably say the full government label.
He's a cop.
Yeah.
Sergio's a cop. Yeah, he's a cop. He just asked for drugs specifically. He asked the bartender for drugs.
Yeah.
I don't. You got drugs? Do you have any drugs?
Because I was so savvy. I would do spots.
You could suss it out from
I would
eye
get
contact.
audience members to give me drugs. Like I knew it. Like the way they laughed at a certain joke. Sometimes I would go like this. I will point my pointer, my index finger at my nose.
Jesus.
In the bathroom, and then the guy would throw the bag over the store. Like I was good that way. I knew who to follow.
Even if you had a bad set, would they still give you coke? Yeah. They're like,
when I had good sets, they would throw it to me like ninja stars.
Yes.
One for you.
Yes, exactly. I did good. If you have a bad set, then people look at you. They can look at you differently too, because then they're like, I'm not giving you fucking
piece
coke.
of shit.
Yeah, exactly. You give me coke, loser. And you're... I never did it. I tried coke one time, but I snorted up and then I blew it out because I knew I would love it. I was at my friend's house and it was a party and these kids had it and I was like, and I was really drunk, but I snorted it in and then I went, because I just knew, because I'm a upper type person. If I knew I would just like love it. So then I remember blew it out. The next day I went and sat by the beach in Maine and was like, just like looking out at the water, like, whew, like, what are you doing? I was really dramatic about it. Like, I was like, I knew, because I just knew if I had like started doing that.
I just picture you like
so
on
dramatic.
a beautiful beach in Maine, a humpback whale silhouette jumping in the water.
What have I done?
Yeah, your soft blonde hair blowing in the wind.
Still with a tooth in, just like. And I met up with my friend. I told her, and she's like, "It's not that big a deal." I was like, "But I promised myself I'd never do." Like to me, I was like, "I crossed the line."
You were very disappointed.
I was disappointed, and I was so drunk. I remember my head like flopping. I was like, "Oh yeah," and then doing it, and then being like, what happened? What happened?" But thank God, because I would have self-destructed.
Let me ask you something. You grew up in Maine. I love Maine. I've always had a close affinity to Maine. And it's funny because I'm a New York City dude.
Sure.
Like, you're like, Maine?
Right.
My
very peaceful.
Right. But my uncle, his wife is from Kennebunkport.
Yeah.
And so we went whale watching there.
That is a beautiful Maine,
too. Beautiful. And every time I go out there, whether I'm in the New England area for shows or whatever, I mean, it's very white.
It's so white.
But I love it, man, because the wildlife is abundant.
Yes.
Every time I go there, I see a couple of, raccoons. I might see I might see elk. I see possum in abundance. I love that shit.
It's that Kennebunkport, even as far as Maine goes, is like beautiful.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the most beautiful places
Would
in
you
Maine.
find, I mean, it's so interesting to me because I feel like you have such a city energy about you. You maneuver here well. Like you know a lot of different people. Would you ever consider going back home like to live, or that's not your thing? Like,
okay.
What do you see? What do you foresee? Like you're in it right now. You're doing stand up.
I couldn't see. So to be totally honest, last Friday, face puffy, hurting. I'm walking to the dentist. I called my mom and I was like, my mom doesn't even live in Maine anymore, but I was like, I don't know what's going to happen to the dentist. I was like, I don't feel like dealing with this. I want to throw in the towel. I was like, can I just move? Like, I want to move back in with you, or I'm going to move get a tent and move in with Dad, like live in the woods in Maine and like live in the shed or something. And she was like, nah, like you're being dramatic. And I was like, I'm done. I was like,
Do you find yourself being manic that way? Like it's very highs and...
I was done. I mean, that's what I'm working to have more right size reactions, but I was cooked. I was like, you know what? Like, fuck, like this is too much. I was like, this tooth stuff. I was like, I'm just, it's like, it's too much. And she was like, and then it was fine. But I was thinking, but to me, moving back to Maine then would be more like, I mean, there's no scenario I could picture it like realistically. I could see moving someplace like calmer, like I like living in New York though. I love LA. I'd love to live in LA, but to move back to Maine,
you're not fucking with it.
I'm not fucking, and it's so cold and like you can't. It's so cold. You can't like. I don't know. Maybe 1 year I'd spend like a summer there.
Yeah.
What's the longest amount of time you spent there?
A weekend or a week.
Yeah. It's amazing.
The older I get, Emma, the more I'm drawn to a country life.
Absolutely.
And there's fucking signs for me. Yo, just the other day, last Monday, I'm in the crib, my apartment, chilling by myself. Liz, her daughter just had a kid.
Oh, congratulations.
So she's upstate with her grandson.
Yes.
By the way, I'm a step grandpa now.
Hey.
I didn't sign up for this shit.
Well,
but I'm in love with the kid.
Yeah,
it's adorable.
of course.
And now I'm banging the grandma.
Right.
It's a weird life. Yo. Oh shit. Her kids listen to this podcast. Yo, but it's a beautiful thing, right? A new addition to the family.
Sure.
Kids adorable. But Liz and my daughter Charlie are out upstate. So I've been home alone.
Yes.
Monday night, I'm chilling, watching reptile videos, whatever the fuck I'm
Whatever
doing.
you do.
Yeah. Bah! I hear a gunshot.
Fuck.
Yeah, I got a camera. I'm in a ground level apartment. I see one of my neighbors sitting in front of the building. I have my own entrance outside of my apartment. And he's just chilling there. The kid likes to get high. So he's like dumbed out. So I open the door and I asked him, yo, was that a gunshot? And he's like, I'm not sure, man. I think it was a firecracker. I'm like, I don't think that was a firecracker. Also, on my camera monitor, I see someone run. I'm like, no one's running from fucking Roman candles and jumping jacks.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know. I think it was a fireworks. And I left it alone. I wanted to believe that.
Sure, of course, because now you got to fucking on tape. You're involved.
Yeah. So I go to sleep. Just yesterday, they made it exactly a week later, 7 days later, my other neighbor sees me in the front, which was interesting to me. She was jump roping in the front of the building with flip-flops on. I was like, that's strange. That's strange behavior.
Yeah, that is strange.
I'm like, you're going to hurt you? You're going to hurt your bunions?
Yeah, this is not strange.
Yeah, I was like, I'm an instructor, and that's incorrect. What you're doing.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Categorically wrong.
Right. So she tells me, two buildings over, someone shot into Ace Bar.
Damn. Shot into the bar? Like
Yes.
blindly?
Check it out. I get goosebumps telling the story because I'm street savvy.
Sure.
I know how the shit went down. They're coming from Avenue B,
right.
which means that's more the project side or whatever. There's more drug activity going on where it's territorial
right.
block shit.
Right.
So they're coming from that area. So they're guys from the neighborhood, most likely.
Right.
And
you got it all figured out.
I'm thinking, like, which way they're coming from?
Right.
That makes sense. They're coming from, like, an Avenue B side. They're not coming from First Avenue. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
It's also a Monday night. So Monday night shows that's more neighborhood shit. Weekends.
Right. Drunk party, wild out. Yes.
So it doesn't take much to figure this shit out, right? Monday night, that's some street neighborhood shit.
Right. Monday night.
Getting
the week started.
Yes.
I mean, that's... Whew.
Monday night, 11. So one guy pulls up. Oh, he was running after another guy. I guess he lost the target.
Oof.
Right behind a tree or something. So there's another guy with the same white shirt, and he sees him in front of the bar, shoots at him. Bah! 2 shots. The guy runs in the bar, but he's not the intent target. The intent target runs past my building. So I got this from other information I learned. So the guy, 2 white shirts, he's like, oh, they look alike. It's a fucking asshole. Shooting at random. I'm 2 buildings down. I have a ground level apartment. My bed is on that window. Like, one goes, this is not old New York. This is like old building. Like any bullet could penetrate through there.
That's
now
really
I'm sleeping
scary.
and I'm sleeping with a fucking Teflon vest and a helmet on.
Right. I get that. I mean, that
So
is very scary.
Yeah, it's fucking dirtbag shit. So
Did they arrest the person?
No.
Oof.
And then, this is why I believed it was a firecracker, according to my dirtbag neighbor. Because no cops attended.
Right.
But why would cops attend? They haven't been doing shit lately.
There was
Unless
no woo, 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 woo.
Nothing.
Really?
I didn't hear whoop. And also, I didn't hear this.
Yeah.
Hey, you got
see
surveillance?
anything? Yeah.
I got that shit.
Right.
I got a knock on my door
Right.
when I confronted a guy who didn't clean up dog shit, and he told on me, saying that, I threatened him. They were like, yeah, you threatening this guy? I get knocked on my door for that shit.
Right.
Yeah, wild. So,
That is something you wouldn't deal with in the country. I mean, there are other things, but literally, logistically, you will be farther away from other people.
Yeah, so, I'm getting a little tired, So
That's
even though
really
these
scary.
outdoor restaurant areas, they're havens for junkies.
Right.
They're like, and I'm talking about nasty junkies. Like the other day, right in front of Ace Bar, they had an outdoor seating area, which has been demolished due to a storm. Great.
Right.
But there was a young guy, strong looking, smoking crack. And he was looking at me like that. And then he was with two other junkies that looked very, they're straight crack. And, part of me is very accepting of, of people who are sick.
Sure.
But when they look aggressive or they look like they really don't give a fuck. There's no bashfulness to their drug use.
No shame.
Yeah, that's a little. I clench my pearls. I'm like, what? I'm a little bit like, this is not very becoming.
Yeah, I get that. I saw someone shooting up the other day, and I kind of like looked away, but I was like, it does like. You feel for it too, or there's been I feel like more than ever I've seen people like really fucking passed out.
Yes.
Like, out, and then I'm like, all right, do I need to stop and do something? And then someone else does, and I'm like, oh thank God. But it's like I've seen that more than any other time in New York, where someone's like fucking.
Have you
out.
seen a change? So you've seen it more too. You've definitely seen a change.
I've seen it more with people being like passed
so people
out,
are
not
getting
moving.
Up.
People
and
getting fucked up.
COVID just it's revealed all this. So I think it's a concoction of people who were probably on the verge, and now it's a good reason.
Sure.
They lost their jobs.
Right.
There's no institutions that are available for them. Cops are not really policing it.
Right.
So it's a recipe.
Right. Extreme isolation, maybe.
Extreme isolation.
I don't know where everyone had gone to, because like there was a couple months in the Lower East Side where there was like I didn't see anybody.
And isn't it funny how when people ask you, they're like, "Oh, did you go away during COVID?" Like, what the fuck? I'm gonna go.
Right. I did go away. I was
went
away.
away?
I was in Louisiana, but I wasn't living in New York. But then I came back.
Man, you were actually
Yeah, I was-
But it's
I did
funny
go
when people
away.
ask that, no, this is where I live. I can't.
Right. This is where did I go? I did wonder that about like people that actually were in New York.
And
So
now
it's
they start to come back.
Right.
I don't think it gets any better for a while though.
I'll be
We're gonna
curious.
get a dirtbag mayor who behaves like
Who's the
Julia.
mayor again?
We
Who's
got
the-
De Blasio,
Right.
Who gets no respect. But
When does the mayor like?
I don't know. Probably very soon.
Is it? I'm gonna vote. So I gotta let me know
We
who to
might get a
vote.
dirtbag mayor though that does the exact opposite of what De Blasio does.
Right.
And I'm gonna be stopped and frisked in front of my daughter. I don't know.
What I hate it when they give stuff like that a cutesy name too. Stop and frisk. Like who's frisking? You know what we didn't see in that shit. That's no, a frisk is like doot, 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 doot. That's not a frisk. Like that's not.
It's like, friskies. That's what you do with cats.
Yeah, like rawr. Yeah, exactly. Not like whatever the fuck they got going on.
So you've definitely seen a lot more drug use.
People passed out like I've never seen before because they'll be fucking out. I saw a guy the other day because I saw a wallet and some cash on the street in Times Square, and I was like, "What?"
You were tempted.
I was,
take that shit.
I was tempted to take the cash. Like I was like, "No way!" But the wallet was right near it, and then keys, and then this guy. So he was like had cash, wallet, keys, and then he was like hunched up against the where you put the mailbox, and he was like out. And then I'm ashamed to say, my first reaction was like, "Fuck, do I have to deal with this?" And then I was like looking at him, and I was like, "Hey," and then someone came up and was like, "Oh my God!" And then they like took over, and I was like, "Thank you."
Isn't it great when someone else deals with it?
God bless.
Isn't it great when someone's just better than you for that moment?
Oh, they came right away, sprung into action. They're like, "Oh my, hey!" And I was like, "Oh."
The other day, I got involved on 14th Street. A woman was she fell. She just fell. Her pizza fell. And I was like, oh, fuck.
What do I got to do?
I made eye contact.
Right,
I gotta. And she was like taller, and her weight was like leaning to. I had to help her up, and
the whole
her pizza
thing.
was on the floor. And
I always say, I do that stuff too. It happens. You know, like
But
it's
she just came out of the doctor and her blood sugar was low. I don't know.
You got the whole story.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
Yeah.
But my initial reaction, because I'm a little jaded, was like, oh, she's on drugs.
Absolutely.
And she's being naughty.
Right.
And this is what you get. But it turned out she had a medical condition.
So it's good you helped her up.
Yeah, I helped her up, and it was nice because it was a bunch of people started to participate.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
But I was happy to I didn't want to wait the full time.
Right, exactly.
But
you want to get in, get out.
Yeah.
So sorry. If I see someone trip, I'll be like, I did that too.
I did it, I guess the word I'm looking at is begrudgingly, in the beginning. And then I was like, oh no, this is a person who really needs my assistance.
Right.
But in the beginning, I was like, I think I looked at my watch, but I don't own a watch. I just went like that to my wrist. You know, like you do this. It's funny how you make up things in your head like, oh, I got to do it. No, you can help this person.
Right. You can help them, and then you can go on your fucking,
But my initial reaction was definitely like, I think I looked the other way, like, oh my God, look at that
didn't
sun.
see it.
Yeah, oh my God, that building was so tall.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a pizza shop here?
Yeah. She's like, help me. And you're like, oh, my bad. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, I'm seeing the abundance in drug use, but then there's slices of New York that are still very New York. Have you seen any of the fucking like the outdoor boxing?
No,
guys?
I would love to see that.
Yo, there's these dudes who put on gloves.
I would
and
love
they
to see
invite
that.
people to box them.
That's fun.
I think you would take part.
I think not now. Nothing's going flying near my face now. But I would like to see, because I like walking by all the. I mean, it's a lot with the people being outside eating and stuff. Still, it's a lot, but it's like nice too. Like it's like popping. The Lower East Side is like people are just like, I've never seen it so like packed. West Village packed.
How do you feel about shows now? Do you feel like people are appreciative? Or
Good question.
Shows, are you having fun doing stand-up now? Or did that pink cloud go away? Because I remember when I first started going back, I was like, oh, these people really appreciate what the fuck we're doing.
Especially the outdoor ones. Like I feel like people still do it. It does feel really nice to be back and like
you
have
like doing
it
outdoor
like,
shows?
I still do them.
Interesting.
I'll still do them. The stand does them, so I'll do the ones at the stand.
That's not tough?
As someone with ADD, it has taken some getting used to because it'll be like a car beeps or whatever, but the way they've got it set up is like good, so that helps. If a kid walks by, like if it's a 7:00 show and a kid walks by, I shut down my operation. Like if it's like a family walking by with a kid, I'm like, or I'll switch my joke. Like I'm not trying to. I don't need to finish it that bad to like say something. You know what I'm saying? Like a little kid, like because they'll just so that can kind of throw you off. But it's not like, I mean, I did Soul Joel's, which was in Pennsylvania. Have you done that?
Yeah.
That's outside. That was really fun. So I feel like people, if they're outside, like they want to be at a show, and then inside, it hasn't worn off yet. It feels like just nice being able to like be inside and do stand up.
Yeah.
But ask me in a couple months.
Yeah, I'll tell you. First few weeks back felt great, but people are returning to their old dirtbag selves. I can't fuck with you, Jersey. I don't like Jersey shows.
What happened?
You like Jersey? You can
I haven't done many shows in Jersey, but I don't mind Jersey City at all.
Okay, Jersey City, I don't mind. I feel like that's close to the city. They know how to fucking behave.
And I haven't done a lot of shows in Jersey though. So
I'm working with Chris. We do a lot of bigger shows in Jersey. Are fucking dirtbag because these people get.
Rowdy?
They get rowdy and they're fucking obnoxious.
Right,
man.
they're excited.
I feel like it's specifically Jersey. We did a theater.
Oh, I'm so happy for you guys and Chris to be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and this is, in no way am I trying to shit on the fans, but there's this isolated incident that just happens to be in Jersey. Consistently in Jersey.
Right. You noticing a theme.
Yeah, there's a theme.
Yeah, there's a theme. And the theme is Jersey.
One theater show, and it's not even for my set. It's during Chris, poor Chris.
Also, if you go into a fucking theater, you would think someone would behave. The theater to me is classy.
Yeah, and
you're going to the theater.
The sentiment was already, like we walked in and the security was just like very aloof. This is a month ago, by the way. He was like very aloof, like, oh yeah, Springsteen has been here, and this guy, you got some dirtbag kind.
All right, well I'm here now, motherfucker.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like that,
right?
But the girl is just yelling. You don't know it occurred. He got a good slice, a clip out of it, made fun of it, posted it. It's good content.
Right.
But
and they didn't kick her out or anything.
No, that's the theater.
Yeah.
Now we got an outdoor at a golf course. And it's hot, dog. This is when the outdoor shit is a little bit stagnant.
Also, they gotta have an overhang. So the one at the stand, the people are still under something.
Yeah,
that
so
makes
they were
a
under
big
something,
okay, good.
but it was this thick. It was like they were trying to breed like reptiles. You know, I know about reptiles. You know, I'm heavy in the reptile.
Sergio's
The
like,
reptile
wait a
world.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like they had colubrids and boids and all sorts of like monitor lizards.
Be like, Sergio's he's clocking the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is a perfect temperature to hatch out some turtles.
Yeah, what are you guys doing in here? And they're like, what the fuck?
Right.
You guys hatching turtles here or what?
Right.
Who is
this is
this
like
guy?
a perfect,
Turtle hatchery.
Yeah. So it's thick in there. I get it. It's the energy is a little bit like,
Older
but it's fine.
people?
It's fine. It's a mix, mostly young people.
Yeah.
But Chris goes up, first show, and one person just goes, in the middle of his set, like a fucking raptor of some sort,
right.
like a raptor being abused.
Were they excited or were they just like?
He said, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God, we love you." So it's like this drunk.
Stop.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
And it's fucking annoying. And the worst one, a repeat fan steps on his punchline, says the punchline.
That is the fucking worst one.
Dogs. Like, that is unacceptable.
No. That's the worst.
So, Chris, he's a very
gracious,
patient,
nice,
very
yeah.
gracious.
That sucks.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Chris was fucking livid. He didn't get it. He didn't take it out on stage. He's professional.
Right.
But that,
Right.
it's okay to get mad
Was
at
the
that.
audience confused? Or they're like, how did they know?
I wasn't there, but I knew he wasn't happy. So you fuckers, if anyone's like thinks that's cool, it's wrong. And don't do it. Because what happens is, it fucks up the show. And it's not about you knowing the bit. You know, like, thank you for coming to the show
Of course,
again.
thank you so much. What a high honor.
Yeah, but stand-up doesn't work that way.
Right.
We can't turn over new material show to show.
Right.
He's going to be doing, or we're going to be doing material 1 year, 2, 4, sometimes 6 years, whatever. The material turnover is not as quick as we like it to be.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you get to say the punchline. There's people who never heard the joke before. You ruin what jokes are, and that's the element of surprise.
Yeah.
Because you've been to a show,
Totally, 100%. 100%. I wonder if the person did, like, I wonder if they...
You wonder what their intentions are, right?
Right. Probably the intention was like I remember going to see this stand-up show when I was in college, and it was at a theater, and I didn't know anything about stand-up, and my friend was a fan of the person, and I didn't get it. Because we were there, and we paid $70 for these, like, bad tickets. It was for Margaret Cho at, like, the height of her fame. And I was like, what? Like, I had no clue what it was. And the people in the audience were yelling her jokes, like, the whole time. Isn't that crarazy? And years later, only then was I like, whoa, that sucked for her. Because, like, she was, like, drowning.
The premise or?
Like, word for word. Like, she would say, it was, like, the height of her fame. So she would be, like, people the whole time were like, ah! And then she talked about her mom a lot. And then people would be like, they were saying the jokes.
So it's
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's fucking
because
nuts.
I think maybe I'm misinterpreting what their intentions are.
Yeah,
and I want to maybe
singing along to a song or something, but like
it's
it
wrong.
was so
you don't do that.
weird.
Listen, it's not music. First of all, it's different. Music, everyone knows the words, and if you don't know, a lot of times you go to a concert of some sort, you share the knowledge of the song, the sentiment of it.
Right.
With comedy, you share the sentiment of knowing that person is funny, but the element of surprise is ruined.
Right.
If you tell the end of the fucking
Right.
joke. And we shouldn't have to hold these people's hands and tell them that.
Right.
It's fucking common sense, really.
And also, it's different if someone yells out one punchline. This was like they were yelling out everybody. I don't know how. I don't know. That must have been hell for her, honestly. But
how was she responding
she
to
was
it?
still doing her jokes.
Interesting.
She put on like a concert, but this was like, man, this was so long
early
ago.
2000, 1999.
Because I remember being like, it was, but like if it's just one punchline too, because then you're like, and then you just are like in your
that
head,
can't be
like,
fun.
fuck, nah.
I mean, that's when like your fame becomes fucking annoying.
Right. Absolutely. I get it.
I saw a clip of you at the Cellar, and I love the way you handled yourself.
Oh, the heckler?
The heckler.
Oh my God. So
that guy was a fucking piece of shit. And
He was a piece of
you
shit.
handled that shit like a beast. So
I
props
appreciate
to
that.
you.
Thank you.
Tell
Thank
the story.
you. Okay.
How did you feel about it? 'Cause that was great.
That has to do
Derek Show. Shout out to Derek Drescher.
Thank you. Oh,
He showed
yes.
me the clip.
I love Derek. So it was like, it was, man, I think and I wasn't going to put that online because
I thought it was great. It needs to be put on.
I appreciate that. I was like, because I was like, I kind of lost my cool. What happened?
No, you looked like you were in total control.
I was in total
fair
control.
Emotion.
I can say that because I wasn't. It didn't really bother me. It was more like
No,
it did bother me, but it was like you never want to get like hysterical at all. So it didn't even come close to that at all. But it was like, I got audited, tooth problems, and then I was watching the show, and he kept on like yelling at the host, like asking questions, and the host was like handling him and taking care of it.
He was asking questions like, how many more comics?
How many more comics? Just stuff you could Google. And then it was like, and he was like,
fucking dick.
What a dick. It's like a room of like 250 people. And he would kind of like, he was definitely trying to get a lot of attention because he was just making lots of noise. So then when I went up and he asked the host a question right before, wearing shorts, like right up front, sprawled out. He actually seemed like he didn't have like mean energy though, but he was definitely wanting attention. And he was like over laughing at stuff, which don't get self-conscious about laughing at stuff ever, but this is what it was. Like say you say something and people are normally like, ha ha. He'd be like, ah, like really. So you're like, eh. And then he was like, that's the one funny joke about one of them. And I was like, and then I just kind of was like, I verify what he said. And then when I was like, oh, that's what it was, I was like, what a like I could hear you. And then I was like, fuck you. Plus, I had been sexting with my girlfriend right before I went on stage. So I was all turbed up in the dirty talk department. So that's why I was like, you're a little bitch. Like your ass needs to get fucked like the pussy that it is. Like that's why I got sexual, because I had been dirty talking right up before that. So I was all lubed up. I was embarrassed for her to see that. I was like, don't watch it, don't watch it. Because I was like, I said to his girl, I mean, it was like a whole thing, but she thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And
do you feel a little bit like shy about it? Like a little shy.
Yeah, I feel shy at the end. Like it was, because just some of the stuff I said, I'm like,
I thought it was great.
I appreciate it.
I also thought that you were very present with it. You had mentioned to him, you're fucking asking the host who's next. Like he's your
personal Alexa.
Yes,
yeah.
That was great. That's so fucking
appreciate that, because he was because I was kind of like, could you imagine being in a room of 250 people, and then the host, it was Nico who was handling the guy great too. Like he was like shutting him down each time, but like it's like just yelling out. Like it's like the same thing as being like, I've seen people do it. It's similar to it where they'll ask the host of the show to get them a drink. Have you seen that before?
No.
I've seen it once or twice where they'll be like, I've had it happen to me where they're like, I need a drink. Usually they're drunk though, so it's like, all right. And then I'll be like, can we get them a drink or whatever? But like something like that. But it's kind of like, it's like, what if I had to get everybody drinks while I'm also on stage? Like what type of show is that the show you want to see? That like a room of 100 people is like, oh, I also need a drink. I need some carrot sticks. I need some Funyuns. And
people are out of their mind.
Like what would we be doing? It'd be nuts. But yeah, that felt therapeutic. I wasn't going to put it online, and then
how do you feel about a situation like that? Like the day.
Afterwards, I felt a little like
I feel like most comics feel a little deflated after that.
Yes.
But not that I felt like you should, but I feel like anytime you have an interaction with a stranger like that on stage, even though you fucking dominated it and you handled it beautifully.
I also wanted to make sure he like kind of was like okay too, and he
because you don't want to make people feel bad.
I don't want to make people feel bad, and he was like laughing too, which was like egging me on. But also,
he probably really enjoyed himself.
He was like, but. What I felt weird about too was then like after that was like such like a peak with the audience. Then I went back into material and they like wanted to hear me go off more, and that's what I felt more frustrated about, because I was like, damn, I always feel more confident in who I am as a person than who I am as a stand-up comedian. So then I started doing the whole like, I'm funnier as a human being than I am as a joke. I fucking hate writing jokes, like blah 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 blah. So that's what I felt deflated about, because I couldn't get them laughing as much as I did when there was that interaction with the guy.
Yeah, well, I think people are able to really appreciate you being so present.
Yes,
because most people can't do that.
Totally.
First of all, you're on stage in front of strangers and you're handling yourself like a fucking warrior. It's like being, it's like most people can't fight, right? So it's like, and although this wasn't like a fight, but you know what I'm saying? Like you handle yourself under some pressure.
Any type of dirty talk is where I thrive. Yeah. So the second I could like it into like me being like, because he was he liked getting degraded a little bit. So I was like, the second I could be like, are you a cuckold? And like that type of stuff. And that's like where someone like is with your girlfriend in front of you type thing.
I didn't know what that was recently.
Yeah, it's like,
it's funny because a lot of my white friends use that. None of my black Latino friends use that. But all my white friends call each other, you fucking cuck. I'm like, what is that? They don't call me that. They call each other
of course
that.
not. Yeah, no.
But I didn't know what it was. And I seen it in porn, and now it all made sense. I'm like, oh, it's like when a guy's having
someone fucks the wife in front of
And
the
they
guy.
watch.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sometimes the guy's into it. Sometimes it's like revenge. Sometimes there's tons of scenarios with cuckold porn. I always like verbal wife talking to the husband while she's getting fucked by the other guy. Like I like that stuff.
Well, yeah, so it's interesting. I'm very familiar with it these days because Liz has been gone for a week and a half.
Right.
So I've been watching a lot of porn. So much porn that my eyes have sunken into my skull.
Really?
Yeah,
You gotta be careful of that. It's bad. It's bad.
I had a twitch in my eye. I was like, there's porn was
Pornhub
just frozen
click.
on my
Yeah.
laptop. It was fast forward on my
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm walking around.
Yeah, you take your phone out and then you're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm getting so reckless where I can have my my speaker that I use to train people outdoors and then porn just on the fucking
connected to it.
you
It's
gotta
so
be careful.
impulsive, totally.
Yeah, it's so rational.
It's so, and I love looking at porn. Like it's fun, and porn comments are funny.
Porn comments
Are funny. I watched a porn the other day, and this guy goes, or whoever was watching it, his comment goes, and it was something like stepmom gets fucked by nephew, whatever, and the comment was like, do you ever stop and think that every decision in your entire life brought you to this moment where you're jerking off to this shit? And he was like, I just came and now I don't know, I'm depressed. I'm gonna go to the store or something like
so
that.
funny.
And I screen grabbed it because I was like, I get it, man.
Yeah.
But he's like, every decision in our lives brought us to watching this fucking porn right here, right now. And it's like, yeah, true.
Yeah, it's
True.
wild.
It is wild. This is where we go. Like,
Yeah.
and we're all like locked in.
But you
It's
know what? No
millions of
one's
views.
exempt, man. People are doing
Everyone
some
watches
nasty
porn, I
shit.
think.
And if we, wherever you live, there's some nasty shit going on. You know, we're in a very condensed city. We could be walking by a tenement and 15 feet inside of a building, someone could be eating someone else's ass.
I hope
Meanwhile,
so.
we're walking by with our matcha.
Absolutely. I hope they are.
With one earbud on.
If I
15
knew,
feet in.
if I knew they were doing it, I'd be like, yeah, get it. Good for you.
You might put a cup to the
Absolutely.
to the brick wall. Like, yeah, come on.
Do your thing. 100%.
But isn't that funny? I think about that. Like I walk by, there's probably someone eating ass in here.
I don't, but now I will.
Right?
Now I will.
15 feet into the sidewalk.
Someone could be eating ass right up and around here.
Right.
Good for them.
Someone's getting flipped over.
Yes. That's when life is alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. We worry about too much shit, and some of us are uncomfortable having sex. You gotta fuck. Be safe, but have a good time with it.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, because it feels so good. Be
Yes.
responsible. Try not to hurt others while doing it.
Absolutely.
Meaning, like, if you have somebody, try to stick with that person because it's fucked up if someone finds out that you're fucking someone else.
Absolutely. It
But
done
the person you're with,
responsibly.
fuck them.
Yes.
And they want you to be creatively courageous. I need to take my own advice. I'm boring.
Yes, totally. Like, but it's just as much the other person's responsibility too, to like all the like stuff.
Communication.
Key.
And
there's so few things we get to do for fun, and then sex is something we get to do for fun.
And for free.
And for
Most
free.
for most
of the
people.
time.
I know people be dropping some dividends.
Right away, we're both like, wait.
Some people are listening to like, fuck this podcast.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Hey, fuck you guys.
I'm so happy that I had you on.
Great to see you.
Yeah, you're
You
awesome,
look great
man.
as always,
I
too,
feel
by the
great.
way.
I feel great.
You look
I
great.
want you to continue taking care of yourself
Thank
and
you.
doing what you do.
Appreciate
Next time
it.
I have you on, you're gonna have a gold tooth replacing that void, and I want a Playboy bunny on it.
Okay. Could you
So
imagine?
what's the next step to it in closing?
The next step is, okay, hopefully the infection didn't corrode the bone. That's just what I was like, I can't even fucking.
Okay.
Then I'm going to get the implant in like 5 months. They're going to drill in and put the tooth in.
Okay, you're almost there.
It's
baby
all
girl.
good, yeah.
You're almost
It's all
there.
good.
And last thing, what steps do you take forward to maintain your sobriety and to and feel good? Because I think it's all maintenance. Like what the rituals I adopt every day. that
Creating a life you
instill-
like, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's a little morning stretching. Listen to some.
Do you do
song
morning
group. I
stretching?
do, man.
Good for you.
It sets the tone.
Good
I
for
can't
you.
jump right on the phone and look and read other people's negative
No,
thoughts.
no,
I
yeah.
gotta do something for me, and I just feel open, aware, and present. Is there anything
I
that
love
you
that.
can that you can share with me that you found like this works for me?
Yes.
and it makes you feel like the day's gonna be manageable. I'm gonna feel ahead, clear, and present.
Head clear and present, that's like something I'm like really working on for sure. But habit stacking is something I started doing in the past like 4 months, where it's like I take something I do and not judge it. Like it's like, what's something you do every single day? Like, so for me, I always drink coffee every single day. So I know I'm going to do that. What can I tack on to that? So it's been like, okay, make the bed, make some coffee for tomorrow, eat something healthy, and then like right after I eat like my little overnight oats, make some more overnight oats.
So it's like preparation.
Get it started like that. So it's like stack those things, but it's like don't try to think of what can I put on a good habit. Just be like, what's something I fucking what do I literally do every day? Okay, it's like, okay, I drink coffee every day. I watch porn most days. Like, what can I stack onto those things that I'm already doing? And then really, this has been a huge, trying to be aware of how much time things actually take. Because I used to be like, well, this will take an hour, so I can do this, I can do that, and this. No, I'm not factoring in. And then I'll get overwhelmed and and then I'll do less and be like, okay, this is supposed to be an hour. I'm gonna give myself an hour to get there. 2 hours. Just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'll be in there. I'll bang it out in 40 minutes. No, I mean, yeah, I could do that, but it's like, okay, then you're gonna do a 30-minute workout, but you got to give yourself an hour and a half to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
Just
it.
putting in more time to do stuff so I get less overwhelmed.
Interesting. So yeah, just preparation and planning.
Yes.
Your days. I mean, that's huge.
Even just a little tiny bit. I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can do it. I've got rampant
makes a huge difference,
ADHD,
too.
and it's just like even showing up for yourself, like just when it's like have the coffee and then just make the bed, boop, boop, and then you're like, oh, I never thought I'd be someone that's like making the bed because I didn't have like a plan
And that's
to
something
it.
for your mind too.
Yeah, it's good. And you're like, boom, it takes 2 minutes. I don't make it well. Yeah. It's not a work of art. It's but it's like done. You know?
Right. For some reason, there's cat hair on it.
Yeah, it looks like shit. Don't own a cat. You know, where does this fucking animals come from? But doing that, like that helps me show up for myself a little bit.
As far as the creative platform, you still got the podcast with Mateo?
Got the podcast with Mateo.
Plug that in. And then we'll put the links on the description. I'm getting better with that.
Good for you. And
yeah. So
I've been
it's important.
focusing
And I want my people to get
appreciate
that connection because you guys
TikTok.
are great. Oh, TikTok.
That's where I'm focusing all my energy.
We're going to put all the links on
Be twerking soon.
description.
We'll get him
so
on there
TikTok?
twerking. TikTok. I am Emma Willmann on TikTok. I've like fallen in love with TikTok.
All right.
That's where
And then we got the podcast with Mateo.
I'll be in this weekend, August 9th. I don't know when this comes out.
This will come out next week.
Okay,
or
so
the week after.
I'll be in. I keep everything. If you go to my Instagram, I have all my tour dates in the
Dates.
bio. Yeah.
Yo, extremely funny, and you just get
Thank
funnier
you.
and funnier.
Appreciate it. Trying.
I put it like this, man. If me and Emma are on a show and I know the producer and she rips, I might be like, yo, I could hang out all night. I don't need to go after that. You know what I'm saying? Because she rips.
I do
Very
the same.
funny. Yeah, I'm a big fan
Thank
of
you,
you as
Sergio.
a person and a stand-up comic.
Likewise.
Thanks for coming out, boo-boo. I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Emma Willmann, that's the DBS podcast. I appreciate you guys signing in. I know, listen, you guys got to comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Do it for the pod so we could grow like a plant, God, like a tree, like flowers. We need to bloom together, all right? I appreciate you guys. We out of here. Another one in the books.